Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on compound inequalities, and compound inequalities, this is how we write it. Así es como lo escribimos. Inigualdades compuestas. What it means is that it's actually pretty simple, and this is how we do them. So in this problem, we are being told, well, if I look at this right here, we're being told that x is greater than -3. Okay, that's what I'm being told in the first part of that compound inequality. The other part of the inequality says, when I look at this right here, okay, I can see that x is less than 5. X is less than 5. So what does that mean? X is greater than -3, but x is also less than 5. Alright, so let me graph that. Vamos a hacer una gráfica para que entienda mejor. So let's try to put that in a graph. First of all, I have -3, and I have 5. Okay? So I'm being told that x is greater than 3. So all the numbers that are greater than 3 are this way. But I'm also being told that x is less than 5. So here is this one here. X is greater than 3. But we're also being told that x is less than 5. Okay, so all the numbers that are less than 5 are this way. Okay, so that means, and here's how you put it in simple terms. That means that x is between -3 and 5. X is a number, okay, then that's not hashtag, that's number. X is a number between -3 and 5. So my graph kind of looks like this. I put a closed circle here. Why closed? Because we have a greater than or equal to symbol. I should have put equal here as well. And in here, I'm going to put a open circle because we're not going to include a 5 there. And my graph looks like this. And let me do it with another color there so you can see it better. Let's do yellow. Okay? So that is a compound inequality. It's when you put two things in one. Alright, on this one here, it's a little bit different. This one is saying x is less than -2. Okay, so if I go to my graph here, all the numbers that are less than -2 are this way. Now on this one here, this one says x is greater than 2. So all the numbers that are greater than 2 are actually this way. So here's how my graph looks like. We put a open circle because we're not including that. And we're going to go this way. And then x is also greater than 2. So we're going to put an open circle there. And it's going to look like that. So your graph is going to look like this. It's either going to be in between or you're going to graph on the outside. Okay? Alright, so let's do a couple more examples so you can see that a little more. If I have this one here, I know that this means that x is between -2 and 3. So if I want to graph that, this is how I graph it. Very simple, guys. We put the two numbers there, -2 and 3. I know that this is in between, okay? And it's very clear because the x is between the two right there. Okay? So the x is in between those two. La x está en el medio de esos dos, así que vamos a hacer la gráfica en el medio. Okay, so that means, I just said that in Spanish. Alright, so we're going to put a closed circle there. Why closed circle? Because this is a less than or equal to symbol. Okay, remember when you have the little line on the bottom, you put a sign. On this one, we don't have that line. So we're going to put a open circle. And we're going to go ahead and graph in between. Because this means that x is between -2 and 3. On the other hand, we have this one here. This one means, and for this one, you usually just look at the symbols. This one is pointing that way. This one is pointing that way. So you're going to put an open circle there, and we're going to go opposite ways. And you can kind of tell when that happens with that or symbol. And then finally, also an open circle on that one there. We're going to go this way. All right, let's keep going. All right. This right here. We're going to go back to the lesson in a little bit to that worksheet. But I just want to show you how to do this one really quick. This one is an and symbol there. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 2 on both sides. Or actually, in all sides. Here's how you do this, guys. It's actually pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to subtract 2 on both sides. On this side and also this side right there. See what I did there? Why did I do that? Well, if I do that, this is what happens, guys. This and this cancels. Now we're going to do the math here. We're going to do that, and we're going to do that right there. Okay, so we got 0 minus 2. That's -2. Bring down that symbol. The n is by itself now. Bring down that other symbol. Got 5 minus 2. That's going to be 3. This right here is what we're going to be graphing. All right, so we're going to go to -2. We're going to put a open circle. We're going to go to 3, and we're going to put a closed circle. And then, like I said, guys, for this ones, we're going to graph in between. So from -2 to 3. And it's a number between -2 and 3. All right. Let me go ahead and do an OR one. Let's take a look at this one here. We're given x over 8 is greater than or equal to 1, or 9x is less than or equal to 63. What you're going to do in here, guys, is you're going to solve each one of them individually. Vas a resolver cada una de esas individualmente. So you're going to solve them individually. So solve each one of them. The first one here, how do I solve it? Well, it's very simple. We have learned that if to solve this one, we have to multiply times 8 on both sides. So that this and this cancels, and we get x is greater than or equal to 8. On the other one, we have to divide by 9. Okay, so this and this cancels. Okay, so we have 63 divided by 9. That's going to be 7. All right, so let's go ahead and graph this. First, let's understand what this is saying. X is greater than 8. Okay, so if x is greater than 8, then I'm going to put a closed circle there, and I'm going to graph all those numbers that are greater than 8. Okay, those numbers, all the numbers that I highlighted there, are all greater than 8. This one here says that x is less than 7. So we're going to graph that way. So we're going to put a, let's see, it's going to be a closed circle. So we're pretty much graphing everything except for that section right there. Okay? All right, very good. Now let's go ahead and go back to our worksheet that we'd had. I'm going to go ahead and do those 6 problems for you. Now that we have, I just given you an introduction. Okay, so this worksheet, you should have it on Canvas. You should open it up. And those, the 6 first problems, are going to be your notes. Okay, that's what you're going to be submitting. The other part, the first problems that we did, that was kind of like an introduction. But I do want you guys to submit 1 through 12, and I'm going to be doing 1 through 6 right now. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking notes 1 through 6, and then from 7 to 12, you're going to be doing those by yourself. Okay? And you're going to be submitting all those 12 rounds to me by taking a picture on your cell phone and submitting all the work that I'm doing in here. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one here. We're going to start with this one here. 7p is less than negative 56 or negative 9p. I like to separate those as much as possible so that it's not confusing there. For each one of those, what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 7 on both sides. And on this one, I'm going to divide by negative 9. Okay, so we have to be very careful with this, guys. Because this is what's going to happen. This and this is going to cancel. Negative 56 divided by 7. Okay. We're going to divide that. Hold on. And then we're going to divide this here. But we're going to have something is going to happen here. And what's going to happen is that the sign is going to switch. The sign changes. Why? Because you are dividing by a negative 9. Okay, that's important, guys. We have to be very careful with that. So the sign is going to switch to that right there. And then 54 divided by 9 is going to be 6. Or it's actually going to be negative 6 because you're dividing by a negative. All right, so we have those two right there. We're going to go to negative 8. We're going to graph this one first. We're going to put a closed circle right there. And we're going to be graphing this way. All right, now let's go ahead and graph this one here. It's saying that p is greater than negative 6. So we're going to put a open circle right there. And we're going to graph this way. Guys, Just so you know, whenever you have an or symbol, you always graph opposite ways. Okay? So whenever you have an or symbol, you always graph opposite way. Cuando tienes un símbolo de or, siempre vas a hacer las gráficas en lo opuesto, en la dirección opuesta. Okay? All right, this one here, it's a little bit different. We have negative 30, then negative 10k, and then 100. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide everything by negative 10. Okay, why do I do that? So that this and this will cancel and the k will be by itself. Alright, so remember, I'm dividing here. So I'm going to get negative 30 divided by negative 10. That's going to be positive 3. And something is going to happen with the signs as well. The signs are actually going to switch as well because you're dividing by a negative. So this is going to switch to that. And this is going to switch to that as well. So negative 10, 100 divided by negative 10 is going to be negative 10 right there. If you want, you can switch it up a little bit. You can put the negative 10 on this side and switch the signs again. If it makes you feel more comfortable writing it that way. So that means that k is between negative 10 and 3. Okay, so k is between negative 10 and 3. So here's my numbers there, close circle. And 3, close circle. Where is the 3? Right there. And then we're going to graph in between. Okay, so that one was a little bit more complicated just because I was dividing by a negative, but that's, you know, that's probably the most difficult round in here. Usually these rounds are not that difficult to do. All right, let's do this one here, number 3. So n minus 4. Or remember, we're going to be solving each one of those individually. All right, so on this one here, since we're going to be solving each one of those individually, let's go ahead and do that. The first one there, I want to add 4 on both sides, as you will expect. Why? So that this and this will cancel. All right, so negative 1 plus 4, that's going to be 3. So let's go ahead and graph that one first. I'm going to graph this one here. It's going to be 3. It's an open circle because we don't have the line on the bottom there. And we're actually going to go this way. All right? All right, let's solve the other one. The other one, we have to multiply by 5 on both sides. Why? So that this and this will cancel. And we're going to get 5 right there. Let's go ahead and graph that. N is greater than 5, so we're going to put a closed circle right there. And we're going to go this way. Remember, guys, it's open when you don't have the line. And since I have the line right there, that means it's closed. Okay, so this is a open circle. This is a closed circle. Let's move on to question number 4 here. We have negative 8. And then p minus 7. On this one here, remember, you want the P to be by itself. Okay, tú quieres que la P esté por sí sola. So all we have to do to eliminate that -7, because I want to get rid of this right here. I don't want that. So we do it the same way we did it before by adding 7 on both sides. But instead, we add it to all 3 sides right there, to everything. It's like having 3 sides right there. So that this cancels out and we get the P by itself now. Bring down the symbols. Then we have -8 plus 7. That's going to be -1. And then -7 plus 7, that's actually going to be 0. So P is a number between -1 and 0. And this is going to be interesting. So -1 and 0 are right there. So it's right there. We're only going to graph that because that's what it's saying. P is between -1 and 0. All right, so that's it for number 4. See, I told you guys, number one and number 2 were the hardest ones in here, just because we were dividing by a negative. Let's do this one here. One more time, we have 5. To eliminate that plus 6 right there, all we have to do, guys, is subtract 6 on both sides. And when I say both, I mean all sides. I'm sorry. This cancels here. The n is going to be by itself now. 5 minus 6 is actually -1. And then a minus 6, that's actually going to be +2. So n is a number between -1 and 2. All right, let's do number 6, final one here. This one is kind of interesting. And here's how you solve it. We solve it the same way. If I didn't have this right here, you know, the way we will solve it is by multiplying 7 on both sides. Okay? Well, we're going to do the same here. It's just that we have to do it in all sides now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to eliminate that 7, I'm going to multiply all the sides by 7, including this one right here. So that this 7 here and this 7, they're going to cancel out. And I'm going to get x. 7 times -1 is going to be -7. And then 0 times 7 is just 0. So x is between -7 and 0. All right. So there it is, guys. I did 1 through 6 for you. Okay, so make sure that you copy those down on your paper. And make sure that you're showing me that you're taking notes by taking a picture of all the work that you did. You're also going to do 7 through 12 here. Those should be, you should be able to finish them in 5 to 10 minutes, really. It's just 6 rounds, guys, that you have to do. Alright guys, so that's it for compound inequalities. This is level 1. We'll do some harder ones tomorrow. And then you guys will be off for spring break actually. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with the next video.